Now, another thing for your notes today, whenever you have two high impact news drivers, I apologize. Whenever there's two high impact news drivers in the same session, like we have an 8:30 news driver that just has already hit the market at 8:30, and then we have one at 10 o'clock. Whenever that happens, whenever that's in the economic calendar, my mind immediately goes to, in case you're wondering, like, why would I say 10 o'clock news should be used to go against everything that's going on? Think about it like this. If a terrorist was going to lay a bomb down, okay, and they do it this way, they go into a busy area where a marketplace or a storefront, and they set a small charge up, and when that charge goes off, what's going to happen? Everybody's going to run away from that point of impact, right? And they all run to a location where the larger bomb is, so that way there's more casualties. Okay. Um, in my mind, the way I internalize what they do is much like what I teach with FOMC, much like I teach with non-farm payroll. Those are financial bombs. Okay, they're literally placed in the marketplace. They're algorithmically delivered, and what happens is one news driver sends price, you know, careening one direction. That's that first explosion. Okay, so at 8:30, what did price do down here? Running, right? We have a potential pool of liquidity up here where price could gravitate to, right? And I'm suggesting to you, as long as we're in the upper half, as long as we're in this area here, going into 9:30, I favor the idea that we could run up in here and sweep that out, and on some kind of momentum over zealous price delivery. Best case scenario would be up into this area here, this inefficiency on the higher time frame. But I'm not willing to take that trade today because it's Friday and it's going against my mindset about I'm content with what I've done. And if I did something this morning and it wasn't profitable, or if I outline something and call it like on Twitter and it doesn't pan out, it'll be in my head all weekend when I knew I shouldn't have touched it. I shouldn't have done it. So hearing me talk about it live over the chart, that way it gives you a little bit more understanding of why I'm not taking the trade, but I'm also using the opportunity to teach you real time what I would do if it was, say, like a Thursday. Um, but that 10 o'clock news driver and price running up to this level here and maybe, whoops, spiking up beyond it to get into this inefficiency here, I would use, if I was making the market, I would use the 10 o'clock hour, that news, and the sentiment after seeing traders see it, rallying from 8:30, and at 10 o'clock, we see it going higher. What is the public going to do? What's the street money going to be thinking? Street money is going to be like, I want to be long, right? I want to be long. That's the very logic that I used on Wednesday to explain to you why we're trading where we're at right now through Thursday and now Friday's initial trading. Because I'm waiting for those wrestling matches when the sentiment of retail, the collective that is called retail trading, the street money, the quote unquote dumb money, and I don't mean that to be ignorant, but that's just what it is. I mean, I came from that too, right? Everybody is that when they first start. I'm waiting for the time period where what I'm anticipating that the algorithm will do, how it runs on specific narratives and its macros and the time of day it does certain things using the economic calendar, just like a TV guide. Okay, you can you can anticipate the sentiment shifts that the retail trader and collectively the traders will think and how they will perceive price before it even happens. So you're really not only predicting the future, but you're reading other people's minds in the future, which is an amazing skill set to have. And that's why this industry is so fascinating, because it's really a study of psychology. It's more a study of psychology than it is of a game of chance or risk. And I think if you approach your initial stages of learning with that mindset, that approach to internalizing how price is being booked and why it would be booked like that, what would be the instigation of price doing a specific thing? What would be the catalyst? What would be the driver of that doing that very thing? What would be the cause and effect? What would be the repercussions of price doing a very specific thing? And how would the losing crowd, the retail minded trader, how would he fall victim to it? Because that's what this game's about. Every large fund manager is still a retail trader. They're literally trading with retail concepts. We talked about how Friday's news drivers here would be a factor, and I talked about how the importance of understanding how two high impact news drivers in the same session, meaning that we had 8:30 core PCE price index, and then we had a 10 o'clock revised consumer sentiment number. So with that, it brings the likelihood of a choppy market, which is predictable. And the main takeaway I was teaching yesterday is treat it like a FOMC or a non-farm payroll event, where it's a two-stage delivery. Whatever has taken place with London and or the 8:30 news, the 10 o'clock news many times does the opposite, which is exactly why I outlined yesterday live in front of all of you that were there, how 10 o'clock would be used to run up into for NASDAQ, and we'll get to that in the details. But overall, all the markets reacted the same way. They ran up, and 10 o'clock, they dumped, and they went lower. How did I know that? The rules that I outlined in the live stream on the 29th of September 2023. I literally gave you what would be the equivalent of 4 chapters in a book that I can't really trust teaching just by typing out and putting charts in a book. Those lessons can't be conveyed properly. They're too dynamic, so they have to be shown in a real live setting, which is what I did it for. So in my book, you're going to actually see me refer to that very live stream. And if you were there live, you're part of history in that book because you saw it actually happen then. You were there.